Well, man, how are you? What you been up to these past 5 years? You've been all over.
I've been trying to eat vegetables, take a lot of magnesium, training, and just farting in the wind, my man.
I wanted to ask you that because I wanted to know a bit more about the process of writing. I wish I didn't waste your time. The lyrics, the song feels like a reflection, you know? So tell me about that track.
Good Lord. Have you ever been in a relationship that's gone bad before, man?
Oh man, yeah.
Well, there it is. There you go. It's like it's a little complicated, and that's what that song is about. It's very complicated.
Okay, but it's a nice reflection, you know. When I was, checking the lyrics, and I know that songs mean something different for each of us, right? But when you mention something like, playing Call of Duty, I play, I play a lot, so I can relate to that.
Yeah, it's like sometimes it's not about the person. It's like just leave me alone for a bit. It's
I
like I
get,
just, I just need a little bit of time on Call of Duty and I'll be fine.
I, man, I feel you. I get
Like don't ruin this for me. Let me play Call of Duty.
you. Okay. And for how long has, this song been around? When did you write it?
Ooh, goodness, man. When did I write this song?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, within the last year or so.
Okay, and what about the other tracks from the record? I mean, when did you start working on the album that will come out when it comes to lyrics?
I mean, I never really stopped working. It just changed shape by way of me working with Greg. I didn't stop writing up until recently on the completion of this album, basically. And the reality is it's like you never really stop. It just changes, working a
Mm.
different way. So I don't know. These songs were written within the last few years of me working.
Do you write on bass?
Yeah, no, a lot of the time it starts with me writing from the bass. And depending on who I'm working with, it sometimes naturally changes, but most of the time it is usually just me writing from my bass. Yes.
When did you discover that you had a sound on bass? Of course, when we think of bass players, we have a certain musicians that we just know who they are, and you have become one of those musicians. And I'm telling you this because, again, keep in mind, I'm in Colombia, so we don't get that many R&B, soul, jazz, fusion artists. So when it comes to listening to Thundercat, it's like, God, this guy has managed to find an identity on this instrument. How did you develop that?
I don't know. I just try to love the music that I'm creating. That's it. I think that everybody in any place that I've played or worked, I try to be there and just try to do the best I can, you know.
You make it sound so easy.
Well, I mean, there's I always say there's different languages of love, right? And I think that one of my favorite sayings right now is that nothing makes up for time spent. And that's indicative of the growth, of the progression, of the pain, of the decisions. It's all encompassing. And I forget who said this to me one time, but I think that is there is nothing that makes up for time spent, which is why relationships can go bad or can last a lifetime, which is why age becomes a factor, which is why, and I think that I've spent most of my time creating music, if that makes sense.
You, yeah, you ever picture yourself doing anything but music?
I don't know, maybe crab fishing. I don't know, like I don't know, I don't know, but busting donuts. No, I've always I think that there's a part of me that between illustration and music, it's always been kind of like I have a big love for both of them. So it's kind of one's more temperamental than the other, but it's always been music for me.
About Children of the Baked Potato. Love the track, love how it moves between jazz and R&B. And I just found out about the existence of a place called the Baked Potato.
Hell
I,
yeah.
Could you just tell me a bit about that?
The Baked Potato is one of the greatest jazz clubs to exist on the planet. And many years of my life as a youth, I would spend time there. And I think it's a really special part of Los Angeles's story. And I hope it never goes away because it kind of sucks. Everything kind of leaves because
Mm.
people are greedy and because money and the need for things to change, which you also have to be okay with and accept. But even though that is part of it, there's a part of me that is like, I hope that the baked potato will always be there, even if I'm there or not. It's part of our history in Los Angeles, and I'll never forget like moments like seeing Hadrian Farad and Scott Kinsey play together, seeing my brother play with Alan Holdsworth, seeing my best friend at the time, Austin Peralta, play with Alan Holdsworth, watching my dad perform there with my mom, you know, seeing Soft Machine there when they haven't toured in like 30, 40 years, you know. I used to mistake ham and turkey all the time because I didn't know the difference. So I would always get the wrong potato when I would get there because I couldn't tell you the difference between ham, chicken, and turkey. So it's like, you know, uh, a lot of life was lived at the baked potato as growing up. So long live the baked potato, man.
Your upcoming record, you did it with Flying Lotus as a producer. Did he produce like the whole album or just a few tracks?
Just a couple of tracks. The reality is that Greg Kurstin is the one who produced most of this album.
I have this old Great Kirsting album called Action Figures Party. It's a jazz record
Yeah.
uh, with Jose Pasillas from Incubus and Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers on some tracks. I remember that record because I was reading the information they sent me on your upcoming record, and I saw Greg Kurstin producing Thundercat. I had no idea, and then I recalled that record, because of course we think of him as the producer for pop artists, but he does have this jazz, funk, R&B thing going on, right?
Oh yeah. Greg is a legend. Greg is a legend. And I you can quote me on that. Greg Kurstin is a legend. And
Love.
we just would sit and share funny stories and you know he also grew up in LA. So there's a part where like there's a lot of intersectional points in our lives that we could laugh over or talk about. And yeah,
Mm.
it's that again, the process of working on this album with Greg has been nothing more than a joy and a pleasure to share with him.
Oh, I asked you about the sound of your bass, but I wanted also to know what got you into, made you take the decision of singing because we don't usually have bass players singing and in your aria and the kind of tracks you're developing. When did you decide to sing?
I think I always it's always been there. I grew up in choir, and sing on a lot of my friends' albums and stuff. I think that the person that inspired me to sing more was Flying Lotus. And good God, what a life-changing moment for one of your friends that believes in you, like to tell you to go push further. And I didn't know what to expect, but I knew that if Lotus like knew that I could do it, I felt like I could do it. And I didn't know how it would translate. And the things that I held on to were like, Stanley Clark and Tony Williams and George Duke, Frank Zappa. I knew that it was like possible, but I didn't know how it would translate for me. But it was on the moment when Flying Lotus told me that I should sing more, and it changed my life.
Oh, I gotta say it. I love the Asuka bass.
Oh, Oscar from Evangelion.
Yeah, I watch lots of anime. I'm subscribed to Crunchyroll and all of that, and I love that bass, man.
Oh man, thank you, man. It's one of the things when I look down at her. She's one of my favorite anime characters because she has balls, man. She's like the archetype of having balls. Her and Kagome, you know, Kagome from
There's
Inuyasha. It's like they're just strong lead characters for women as anime that are not too overbearing because pop culture ruined it. This is a very precious moment in anime, and whoever this was to the creator, You know, you can see how much that person affected their life, whoever this was. And maybe one of these days I'll try to understand more who Asuka was to Hideaki Ono. You know?
I don't know if you've seen an anime called Gurren Lagann.
Oh yeah, of course.
The I can't remember the name of the girl, but I love that character. She had this long shotgun.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Big titties, long shotgun. It
yeah,
was
that's the
great.
one. Somehow, when I think of Asuka, I think of that of her too on Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, very strong character.
Yeah, that was great. One more thing I'd like to ask you, not to get too personal or whatever, but the Mac Miller, he does have an audience here in Colombia. I remember we played some of his music here, and it worked. And remember of course, the Tiny Desk with Mac Miller was huge here. People talked about that record. So I wanted to ask you about that particular performance and the Tiny Desk with him. What do you remember the most on that show?
That laugh that we shared was one of the greatest moments. He laughed because he looked back and he's like, I can't believe you're actually here. And I was like, well, of course I am, and that was a very special moment between me and him that everybody got to see on camera.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful performance. It is a beautiful show. Well, Thundercat, thank you very much for taking the time for this interview. Really looking forward for the record. Those two tracks and awesome tracks. I wish I didn't waste your time. This reflection of things in your life. Thank you for sharing. Not everybody just decides to get into sharing those kind of feelings. And Children of the Baked Potato, love the track, love the drums. And it made me research, which I love, trying to find out what's the baked potato. If you were talking like a dish or a place or whatever. So it was it's nice, keep that in mind. And I'm this guy in Colombia just trying to understand what's the baked potato thing. It was cool, man. Gotta say
I'm
it.
I'm happy you enjoyed it, man. Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much for the music. Have a very nice day.
You too,
Thundercat.
man.
It's been a pleasure.